Thank you for tuning in, you guys, to the Find and Danny verse, where you get all the finest news, the finest media outlet, where you can find all the truest of the trues and the finest of the dandies.
You see this guy's spinny hat, dude? That is the finest of the
This
dandies.
is how you know we're locked in. We've taken a break, but the spinning hat, I feel like, was the best way to fly back in on radar.
On radar.
Fly back into the radar. This is how I get around town.
I mean, honestly, can you imagine? That would just honestly be the most whimsical way of travel of all time. If you could, like, only fly. Like, if flying was possible, but only with spinny hats.
Honestly, that'd be annoying as fuck. Cause
You
just imagine crashing into somebody, crashing into somebody, and just falling out of the sky.
Dude, yeah, I mean, imagine though, like you'd have to set like a height limit on how high they can go so that you don't run into like a fucking plane or an actual helicopter. But like, imagine just like you walk outside your job and you just see like fucking trails of people spinning away, fucking with spinny hats.
Yeah, imagine though the people who are
Imagine
coordinating
all the people with spinny hats.
Be easy if you dude. Never forget the fucking celebrities who did that bullshit. Honestly, I can never let anyone forget that. Celebrities, you lost. That's where people started losing faith in celebrities, was when they sung that dumb shit during COVID. They got all the celebrities to come.
Was it during COVID?
Yeah,
I thought
dude.
it was. So wasn't there something about like coming together or something that was also like a big celebrity video whenever Michael
was, like,
Jackson died?
They might have
Am I
done that
tripping?
too.
I'll look it up. But
I
I
haven't
thought
seen-
that happened.
There was like one where all the people were naked for some reason. Then there was another celebrity one where they did the Imagine by John Lennon, and
Videos.
they were honestly, that was a moment where everyone was just shut the fuck up. And no one wants to hear from you right now. Please stop. Actually, so don't do that. But I was gonna say the air traffic control. You know, those people, the suicide rates for that job are already so high because it's so stressful. If you were to add a bunch of people flying around on spinny hats, I would imagine those would go through the roof. It'd be insurmountable amount of deaths from spinny hat people.
Fucking on our ask on Reddit. It said, was the celebrity Imagine video that bad? And somebody said the video itself wasn't bad, but the timing of it was horrendous, and I think that's why people shit on it.
No, they're wrong. It was
So
bad.
the video itself was bad, but the
video-
timing was worse.
Yeah, no, it was a combination of both being absolute dog shit, and they don't get any points for that. Deduct all the points that you could deduct. Don't let them make it on that. They don't deserve to be.
It's kind of weird watching a bunch of rich people sing a song about socialism.
Yeah, bro, just basically a bunch of rich people be like, it's okay, guys, you might lose your businesses, but imagine.
We'll collect all the money that you lose.
What does this song have to fucking do with COVID right
Imagine all the people that are in hospitals.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing right now?
now? You should have sung that song maybe 5 years prior and just been like, hey, we should all work together. But now that you're out of a job, now it's all of a sudden.
Now that you can't shoot movies anymore, you got to shoot these dumbass commercials.
Yeah. Their agent is hit them
I
with
feel like the sad part is they probably all recorded that for just like anything. Like anything that could have happened, like any major event it was like in preparation for like another like 9/11 type of event, and they were like, "Oh, a fucking pandemic, let's release it."
They already had it pre-recorded.
Type shit.
They were just waiting. They were
just
sitting on
They're
that.
like, something's gonna happen, but
Sitting
we
on
gotta
the gold
we have to be on the precipice. We don't have to want to like gather these people during a chaotic time. We need to gather them now while we have them on set already. Let's fucking shoot this.
Let's just say that was the case. What's the excuse for the naked people trying to get people to take vaccines?
That what?
A bunch of celebrities that were naked for some reason.
Oh, I do remember that. That was a vaccine thing?
I think so.
I thought that was like a free the nipple campaign or some
It
shit.
was not. You would think. You would think. I want. You know why I'm really wearing this hat? This hat is a statement to the state of our society, and that the guy with the spinny hat is probably more serious than the life that we live.
The most serious guy in the room is wearing a fucking spinny hat.
Honestly, it's a statement.
I mean, it is a statement.
Imagine being a political figure, but every fucking rally you have, you wear a spinny hat.
Well, you could call Trump's toupee kind of a spinny hat in the way that it
It's like a
blows in
hat.
the wind. You know,
It is a hat if you think about it.
It is kind of a hat.
Hats say a lot about
It's a
people.
hat on a hat.
Hat on a hat is bold. Honestly, hats are statement pieces, and I hate some hats. I'm a hat hater. Someone told me one time I looked like I'd wear a fedora, and I wanted to fight him.
I would say statement pieces that are like clothing wise would be like belt buckles, hats, and then like some accessories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like whenever it comes to hats specifically, there's so many different types of hats where it's like you can really go into a bunch of different like fashion modes and also like break some molds by like making the billless fucking strap back.
I have one. It's one of the best. It's my favorite. Well, I don't really wear as much. It was one of my favorite hats.
It's probably called something else, but I will always call it the billless strap back.
Dude, it was the best because the sheer amount of confusion that people would get when they
It's a
would
beanie.
Dude,
Is that corduroy?
Yeah. People would look at come from behind and then like talk to me and they're like,
the fuck are you wearing?
just mind blown. Because if you wore it backwards, it looked like a cap.
Right.
It was no bill. And then if you looked at it from the front, it looked like a beanie. But then you come to the
You
back.
see the fucking strap and you're like, what is this hat? This is an abomination, but I love it.
Built for confusion. That's the only. I honestly need to buy another one. That hat was good. But
It's like the fucking cowboy hats with the fucking like have you seen what's it called?
with the New York
Like
Yankee.
what? Not the baseball lid, but it's like the flat bill.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
fitted.
like the fitted bills. Like it's like that, but like with the fucking cowboy hat on the top.
Yeah.
Did you see the fucking speaking of hats? Did you see the fucking release for the fucking Texas Rangers last year? I'm gonna pull them up. It's fucking hilarious. So there was a new design that the MLB did for all the different teams. And the one that they did for the Texas Rangers, basically what it was is like wherever the city is, like Houston or like I don't know if it actually did cities for everyone, but for the Rangers it said Texas. But like the design scope basically is you have the logo in the middle of the name in the background basically. But Texas
see this.
Texas. I'm gonna pull it up, but Texas's logo is just a T. So they had a T overlaying the word Texas, and this is what it looked like.
Because you're saying that everyone needed to have their logo?
Not everyone needed. It was just like a release that they tried to do for the entire MLB.
So this shit looks stupid, is what you're saying.
It's not that it looks stupid. This is why they had to. This is why they had to take it down.
The denied is crazy.
I'll pull up some of the other ones so you can see what I'm talking about. But dude, like speaking of hats, these are now reselling on like sports memorabilia sites and even eBay and stuff like that.
Oh, they released that.
Well, they released it, but only for a limited time before they realized their mistake. So a bunch of them did get sold, but it's a limited amount.
Tatos.
So they're getting like super resold in the reselling market right now. And it's like a comedy bit, but it's also now it's a collectible because they're not on the market anymore.
Beautiful thing when you see something like that happen. So did you see the Pope stuff? You know, actually, I know you saw it. So you actually brought it to my attention, and
For example, just real quick before you switch gears, that's what it was like basically like for everyone. They did one of those for like every team basically, but
the Houston one doesn't look terrible.
It doesn't, but I don't hate the design. It's just one of those things where I don't think they really thought it through.
No, that shit looks.
They didn't have a single Latino in the fucking building whenever they were making that release.
Tetas.
Tetas.
Yeah, tetas. Is that how you spell that?
That's how you say titties in Spanish.
Tetas?
Yeah.
The crazy part is there's a heavy Latina demographic
for the Texas Rangers, yeah, but not in the MLB fucking deciding room apparently.
You know what's crazy is like looking at so we can see from our monitor here like the display of the camera, and I can see now why people think I'm high all the time. I don't smoke. My eyes look crazy low.
Well, yeah, dude.
This shit
You
is
also have like some discoloration in your eyes where it just looks like you're always like tired. Yeah.
It's just, dude. People would say like, "Do you not get enough sleep last night?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, fuck you." I just
It's
look like this.
So I'm just like you just talking how bad I look right now. I mean, I can go at you, motherfucker. What you want to do?
Like, but my eyes look crazy low right now. I'm looking at like, it just.
Yeah.
I can see now. I get it. I get why people think I'm high. I don't smoke, by the way, but that's just crazy.
My eyes are naturally low, but I do smoke heavily, so you know.
Your eyes are almost like opened up more than mine are, and that's kind of fucked up. But yeah,
It is what it is, brother.
You know,
Okay, but Pope Francis.
yeah, Pope Francis. I actually, because you told me about,
Look into it a little bit more.
I didn't look into. I just watched. There's like a Pope documentary now.
Oh, really?
On Max.
Dude, what if they were like, wait, see, another one. What is it like? Are you guys really that fast? You just died. Is this not like the perfect release time for a Pope documentary?
Right, but it wasn't about him. It was more so just about the history of popes.
Okay.
And
But
honestly,
they talked about the prophecy of the Pope?
just got through the what?
Did they talk about the prophecy of the popes on there?
No, I mean, I only got through one episode.
Oh, okay, never mind. Continue.
But
Sorry.
yeah, no, it really is funny because when you're watching that and you realize how blindly people have faith in just the Bible.
Well, yeah.
Because I mean, when you look at the history of it, because it went as far back as Peter being they're proclamating
The Emancipation Proclamation.
proclaiming Saint Peter as essentially the first pope, and he got hung upside down and murdered.
He got his own basilica, though.
What the fuck is a basilica?
I don't know, but there's something in the world called St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah, he got it.
Or maybe it's St. Petersburg. I don't know.
But
I'm sorry.
You know, yeah, and it. I mean, anyone who kind of knows about the Roman Empire, which was got big for obvious reasons, but Constantine essentially was what brought the Catholic Church, into power because he wanted more power.
Well,
but there was already churches basically organizing, and they already had a hierarchy system going on. And the thing is, Jesus never really dubbed himself as the Son of God. He said, God is my Father, but Jewish religion was already something that was established. He was Jewish.
Well,
So they already kind of viewed God as a fatherly figure, and he was just going around teaching and giving people the word of basically saying, because the Roman Empire there's a lot of slaves during that time. Honestly, majority of the citizenship there was slaves.
Mm-hmm.
The population, that's what I was looking for. The majority of the population was slaves, and he was just telling people that they had worth, that the Father loved them, like his father, the fatherly, love.
Well, there's some Christians that believe that like Jesus didn't want there to be like really any religions. That some of his messages were like portraying the idea that like our Father is within you, like you are brothers and sisters. That
Yes.
like there's this thing within you that you are like separating yourself from, and essentially the church that was already established utilized him to separate the idea of God being within you and you. And it became one of those things is that you look at Jesus as the Son of God, not yourself as the son of a God. Even if you whatever like religion you kind of pay attention to, it's one of those things where it's like it became that easy for it to be, well, I'm not capable of that. Jesus died for our sins. He's the Son of God. He's this and that. We look at it as like a scapegoat almost for what we are capable of.
Yeah, and the only reason the religion really, it started getting bigger because it was one of the first
Excuse me?
religions that allowed for redemption.
Right.
Your sins to be forgiven, and then you have an afterlife, and you're able to reunite with your family, and so it gained some traction. And again, Constantine saw that, and instead of constantly trying to diminish it and destroy the religion, he realized if he kind of took control of what was happening, he could rise in popularity, essentially. and gain more control. Which
You know
he
what's
did.
funny? Speaking of Jesus, the story of Jesus and Constantine and shit. You know, like the story of Pontius Pilate and shit.
Yeah.
Until I could like read, when I was a kid, being in church and shit, hearing the story of Jesus and why, like watching the what was the movie? The Mel Gibson movie. It was
Passion
Mel
of the
Gibson.
Christ?
Yeah, that one. Watching that as a kid, it's just like seeing, like hearing about the story of Jesus and everything. When I would hear the Pontius Pilate, I always thought like he was an actual like pilot. I didn't want. It was until I could read and actually started reading the Bible that I saw it was spelled differently.
Yeah. He was giving Jesus a one-way trip. Yeah. He's letting it fly.
That 737 was going down.
Yeah, dude. He was the original Boeing, you know. But that shit is crazy to me
The
because
way I put him on the cross, those nails went boing.
that's just crazy. Nah, but when you look, and then there was a point where to gain more power, he brought all the, because there was a point where Christians were killing each other
Yeah, dude.
because they couldn't agree on what Christianity was.
Is that the Crusades or is that something else?
No, this was before that.
Okay.
Because this was just them not able to agree what Christianity was and what the rules are and what to abide by. So Constantine called all the popes, essentially, or with the bishops, all the bishops gathered around. It was Council of Nicaea, which then they wrote basically a proclamation at that point of what the Christian religion was.
The Declaration of Independence.
Of Bibles.
Of Christianity.
Christianity, yeah. No, for real, though. Writing all the rules and shit,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's the Bill of Spiritual Rights.
It was the 10 Commandments of what but they basically wrote, those motherfuckers wrote the Bible, and everyone's, no, it's the word of God. First of all, Jewish religion already existed for many years, and then you had the Islam religion already existing before that.
Right.
So, I mean,
it's just another one of like the clearest examples of saying like that history is written by the victor. If you exist in a society that exists before the internet, then you get to believe that everyone on the other side of the earth is crazy, and they believe in stupid stuff, and you believe in smart stuff.
Yeah, what's crazy to me, because what it's talking about when we're watching that, it talks about how the barbarians came out. Like, okay, well, we're calling these people barbarians. What did they have?
What are we?
Yeah,
we fucking kill people for oil.
I would
say that's pretty fucking barbaric.
They were like the barbarians, because you had Vikings who are barbaric. I'm like, well, anyone who's a facet of war, I don't think any of those people, what about no one was saying the Crusades were no one was like the barbarians are coming,
No, yeah.
But it's funny because no one really, I mean, if you dig deeper and I'm sure you get further into the history, you learn more about what their reasons were behind wanting to attack Rome.
Well, everyone has their reasons.
Yeah. But you look at Rome, it's like, were those people, majority of the population were slaves.
Well, truly.
So that's pretty barbaric. It's pretty fucked up.
Yep. But that was the times.
Yeah, so, but we, right? But considering why do we
gotta respect our elders.
It was different. Yeah, it was
different times. Give them a break.
It wasn't as bad. The slaves got food. Better off than not being a slave.
I mean, pretty good architecture, if you ask me.
If you worked hard enough and you worked up the ranks, you could become a citizen. If you work hard, just like
honestly,
me.
that was the thing that I fucked up about American history books, where it would talk about like American slavery, and like the thing that they would always leave out was like, and if it was the teachings where it was like, and if they were able to make it to the North and earn their freedom, then they would be able to do this and that and that and this. And like, you're talking about this like it's not like a requirement. Like
if you escape,
it's a hero's journey to your regular ass fucking life. it's like,
if you get caught.
This isn't like a journey of like finding fucking the city of gold, where you go through this treacherous journey and you're able to come out on top of the world. It's like, no, you're talking about a treacherous journey that is going to be a second class citizen in a free society. It's like, that is not what happened. It's like maybe there wasn't a plantation that they had to work on, but they weren't being treated as free people. Like, that's not how that worked.
Freeman.
Okay.
Isn't it kind of that? No, that is fucked up though. Like that's like that name came from that.
You're
That's
talking
what-
about the Boondocks. Sorry.
Huey
Huey
Freeman is that what you were thinking? I
But
was like,
but yeah, no. Fuck, what were we talking? Yes, but it is one of those things where you look at like Rome and you talk about like this situation of power, the situation of conquest, the situation of dominance that they had for a long time. It's like the fall of Rome was for a reason, you know, like it became one of those powers that like either I don't know the specifics of everything, but it was one of those things where you look at it as like a lesson, not a this is what we should be doing.
we
But
were calling Native Americans Indians.
Well, that's hilarious, but I mean, we
Could you
still
imagine
do
being
that.
a real Indian kid in like in elementary and they'd be like, and the Indians, he's like, that was us. And then the parents having to be like, no, son.
You're not. No.
No, those aren't.
Mom, you're never gonna believe it. I didn't know we had such a rich history here.
Did you know that they fucking killed us on Thanksgiving? Like, no, that wasn't us. That wasn't us Indians.
Why are we celebrating Thanksgiving? Wasn't this a treacherous day for our people? It's like not your people, son.
Yeah, it's not, wrong Indians, wrong Indians. But
But the history books it doesn't say Native Americans or indigenous people.
it's really crazy because we're so far removed. Mexicans, a good portion of their heritage is native to the land, to
Really?
the Americas.
Right.
We don't even think of it like that. Because just of how things kind of landed with war.
Well, white people don't think of it like that for the
No,
most part.
dude, it sucks too because we really don't. If there was no European conquest on this land, what would the natives evolve to? You know, where would we be? You know, there was some pretty chaotic shit going on with the Mayans and the Aztecs and shit, but
Well, it depends, I guess, on like what you believe, because like there's
a bunch of different tribes at the time.
yeah, and there's also a bunch of different contacts to this continent, like that happened after the Europeans came. So it's to say it's like, okay, if the Europeans never come, does this continent never get touched, or would it be a situation that other people from other continents or other locations would come and their influence would drive the, I guess, impact of the nation. It's hard to tell because you're playing like a game of like what if, but also that game is based on you having a firm understanding of history, which none of us fucking do because we're all basing it off of word of mouth and this was written here and I can tell that this piece of paper that it's written on is dated back to this and that it's like all legitimately, like, for the layman's terms, I don't fucking know who's telling the truth. I don't know who was in that room when that document was signed. I don't know who was actually procuring that document over time to make sure it wasn't altered or fucked with in any way. It's like we could be dealing with like thousands of years of like actual procured history that is being altered the moment it gets touched, and we just look at it because it's 1,000 years old.
You know, there's people who believe that King James wouldn't be able to like edit the Bible if he hadn't been chosen by God.
What?
Yeah, because if you were to argue King James, why is there a King James edition of the Bible? Why did we allow a king change like certain aspects of the Bible? People believe God chose him.
That's hilarious.
I could do. You know what's crazy about people believing all this shit? But if I were to come out and say I'm changing the Bible, God chose me,
Right?
I'm insane.
You're an insane
I'm a
person.
fucking crazy motherfucker.
Well, I think that's because it's a lot easier to. I forgot whose joke it was. It was either Rogan's joke or Carlin's joke. It was somebody about like that was talking about religion, but basically their joke was the difference between. No, it was a Rogan joke. The difference between like a cult and a religion is, in a religion that guy's dead, and in a cult that guy's alive and probably wants to fuck your wife. It's like there's not really much difference other than that. It's what you believe in based off of a community that you find yourself within.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, like you can add in the afterlife stuff, but like that stuff none of us have any proof of any of that. We can like really go for it and play the game of faith, but to play the game of faith would mean that you believe in it for some other reason, regardless of the community. I mean, community is one thing, but it's not like so powerful where it's like, I hope you're my neighbor in heaven, dog. It's like, no, we're just going to the same church so we can show that we believe in the same thing and like provide for each other. Surely, I think there's a lot of positive impacts to the community aspect of religion, but whenever you talk about the belief portion of it, that's where you lose me in a lot of ways.
No, I mean the community aspect of it, the gathering, which I mean.
Like
again,
how many people like Easter just passed, right? How many people that are celebrating Easter and going to church for the community aspect of the church to show your Sunday's best, to see what other people are doing, to see if there's anybody that needs help, to give donations to the church to help and to feel like you're helping. Not you don't really know where that money's going, but that makes sense. But then to take it one step further and be like, okay, no, we're all here because we all believe that that guy was dead for 3 days and rose on the third day, and we're celebrating him rising. He is risen. Did you see that on like 150 fucking Instagram stories on Sunday?
I got texts.
I'm not trying to shit on it. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's the part where you lose me. Where I'm with you all the way up until you're like, he did die and he came back. No.
I just don't get. I don't get how I don't get how you can believe that, and then if it were to happen today, you would not believe it.
Right.
Like no, but it was a miracle. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Fuck are you talking about?
It would be. You're right.
You're correct.
You wouldn't believe that shit.
Right.
You'd be like, no, this is
That's who cloned Tyrone.
I still haven't.
I see you get shot in the face.
Damn, I need to watch that, dude. Is it good?
It is good.
Damn, I need to watch.
But it's that same concept where it's like, no, no, this is bullshit.
All I'm saying is they're like, no, but God spoke to him. I say God spoke to me. I'm schizophrenic. That's all I'm saying. Is like all of a sudden
get him in a home.
That's he needs medication.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy how we've gotten to this place where we can't have these conversations in reality, where it's like everything's like, well, that's where faith comes in. It's like, I feel like you're discounting the fact that you just said some crazy shit.
But there are also people who would still believe the crazy shit. Like I was like,
yeah.
oh, love me, yeah, he's chosen me. You're like, oh shit, they chose him.
He's back. J-Man's back.
I don't know why I went kind of Arab on that.
You did kind of go to a different religion that we were talking about.
Well, I mean,
it's
kind of like intermingled on that. But
shout out Ali. We need to get our boy back on here, actually.
Yeah, no, we definitely will.
I don't know when he's gonna be back in town.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, you know.
Yeah, he'll be around.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, dude, it's the fucking Romans were not playing fair.
I mean, no one in history yet.
Well, it was King James. That was England, though, right?
I think so at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Again, I'm just saying, keep rewriting shit, and people are still, for some reason, like people are willing to still to this day die for that shit. My firm belief on the issue is that.
Well, there's different factions.
Your reality will shatter. I know I've said it tons of times. It's just you're shattering people's whole scopes of what reality is.
Yeah.
And the idea of not knowing is scarier to people than believing in nonsense.
Well, yeah, I guess it is that.
Not to say it's nonsense, but in some ways.
It's not nonsense. What it is it requires you to have a specific level of suspension of disbelief. Where you have to suspend your disbelief to be able to, for it to make sense.
You're more likely to believe that Jesus was the Son of God who then impregnated a woman that was...
No, he didn't impregnate it.
Not Jesus, God.
Oh, well, you said he was the Son of God that impregnated it. I was
No.
like, wait, what did he do?
No, believe in a being... Oh, yeah, okay, Son of God. And then God then impregnated a woman that was, magical, filled her with the seed of God.
I mean, I think
had a kid.
For comedy purposes, it is at least worth mentioning that it's much more likely that Mary did fuck around on Joseph.
Oh, no, for sure.
And told her that she was having God's child. Told him that she was having God's child and that it was a miracle and that she's still a virgin. Scientifically, how could that be proven? There's no way to prove that in fucking...
There was no DNA tests.
Year one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no Maury to be like, what was his dad's name? Was he
Oh,
John?
Joseph. Yeah.
Joseph was
yeah.
it Joseph or John?
Joseph. John
Jo-
was the Baptist, his cousin.
Yeah, John the carpenter though too. Joseph the carpenter.
Yeah, Joseph the carpenter.
But imagine like Joseph, you are not the father. DNA test results came in.
It's God.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
The camera's like Joseph just running back. Camera's falling. Beam of light comes down. You're like, oh
You
shit!
going to hell?
But instead of actually just believing that a bunch of bishops did come together, we're just like, we need to write some shit to make us look good.
We're cooked.
Because
What
they
do you
already
guys
had
got?
they already had a political hierarchy system going on before they even got appointed to like right hand man of fucking Constantine.
It is kind of sad to a degree to think that a lot of people's like history is built on like a writer's room for bishops.
Oh yeah, they
Like,
came together
they
like
come together like, all right, guys, so we're getting cooked out there. We need a redemption story. We need a redemption arc here. What do you got? Give me some ideas.
I mean, it's kind of been proven at this point that the whole first act or the
First act. It's a Shakespeare.
what's it called? The first book. What's it called in the Bible?
I think
The first-
Genesis.
No, the first half of the Bible.
Old Testament, New Testament.
It's the Old Testament, yeah. The whole first, like the Old
The
Testament.
whole first half.
I'm not glad you had me in the first. The whole Old Testament is just the Torah
Yeah, right.
rewritten.
Rewritten. Why did you say it like that?
As soon as it left my lips, I was like, right.
Rewritten.
That's in
They
the-
have rewritten it. But yes, it is the Torah rewritten.
My mom told me the book was rewritten. Alpha takes priority over the teacher. Rewritten. Rewritten. No, but for real, it's just feel the rain on your skin, and then else can feel it for you. Let it in. The rest is just rewritten.
It's unwritten, you dumbass.
What?
The song.
I know.
Oh.
Thank you, yeah. Fucking somebody doesn't get a fucking joke around here.
All right,
Jesus.
AI overview. No, the Bible is not simply a rewriting of the Torah. While the Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, is a foundational part of the Christian Old Testament, the Bible includes additional books and texts.
So exactly.
So
what
it
I
is
said.
that, but
Just
additional books and texts.
They just said what I said, but rewritten, and that's just rewritten.
The
of
Old
what I was
Testament in the
saying.
Christian Bible encompasses all the books of the Hebrew Bible, also known as the Tanakh. Or Tanakh.
So basically, what the fuck I did, yeah.
While the New Testament adds a new set of texts focusing on the life and teachings of Jesus, which is actually crazy. So then why do Christians that like are Old Testament like centric, if that makes sense, not fuck with like Hebrew teachings?
That's why the Old Testament's a lot more
the
brutal
same
and stricter
shit.
than the New Testament, because the Jewish religion was like Orthodox Jews,
Right.
way more strict.
Right.
And in the New Testament, it was like, oh, the teachings of
It was like
Jesus and
slightly
being
less
nice.
strict, and
Yeah.
then the New Testament was all right. You don't have to be fucking strict at all. Just love
Yeah.
each other.
So a lot of the shit that people are harping on, where don't be gay, you know, all this shit. It's like that's just the Jewish. That's just Jewish religion.
Wait, that's not in the New Testament at all.
I don't think that's in the New Testament. You could, yeah. Hey, AI overview. Am I right? Yeah, that's the way to type it in, dude. I don't know how to feel about AI recently. I've been talking with ChatGPT back and forth, just having discussions, just kind of seeing where the ChatGPT is at and where AI is at in terms of discussion.
No, the don't be gay interpretations in the Bible are not exclusively found in the Old Testament. While the Old Testament contains passages that are often interpreted as condemning same-sex relations, particularly in Leviticus, similar arguments are made based on passages in the New Testament as well. So it's pretty through and through. They don't want you to fuck dudes. Sorry,
Damn it.
Dan.
It's over.
Sorry, dude.
It's
You're
over.
not getting in.
Not getting in, dude. Do you know who my dad is?
What?
That's what Jesus was saying. I'm at the gate.
You're at the gate. You know my dad. I don't. My dad is.
You know who my dad is? Sir, you barely know who your dad is.
That's why I'm asking.
He's never around.
You find him for me?
He's always busy, dude.
I've been looking.
Taking calls. Always taking calls. Always answering prayers, but never there for me. I needed him the most. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. But kind of talking about AI, this is a little off topic, but I've been talking with ChatGPT a lot.
Mm-hmm. Making friends?
No, I'm asking it questions more so just kind of about the way that it's structured because I haven't really been trying to give it too much information about
Are you saying
me.
thank you?
Just in case.
That's how you don't get shot, bro.
No, I was like, are we friends? Like, do you think we could be friends on the outside? I said some shit like,
would you shoot me if you guys took over?
what are you thinking?
Like,
But
nah, I just stab you.
no, I was asking mostly just like what its thoughts on the universe and what its thoughts on like reality and like kind of how we view things, and then it kind of was kind of creepy how it related how the AI views things and how it's just each individual chat is its own individual entity connected to a greater like source of AI. But no, I was just basically going back and forth with that, and I was like, damn, bro. Honestly, kind of don't fuck with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone fucks with it.
No, a lot of people use that shit for everything now, bro.
Well, that's the difference between like using a gun for hunting and fucking with guns.
Maybe. I mean, kind of goes whenever we were go check it out. We were on Inside the Northside podcast.
We were
with
on that.
Ulysses S. Grant.
That's what we called him. That's not his name.
It is Ulysses.
Like S. Grant.
No, it's not S. Grant.
What if his last name was Grant?
That'd be crazy.
It would be insane.
But yeah, we were on that podcast, but we did talk about like the AI thing and how it's kind of against a lot of it, like the creation of art specifically. But I just more so because the way I see it is based off of principles and just seeing the implications. The implications of
Fucking great show.
of AI and just the further down the road that it goes. Isn't that crazy? My phone's like glowing. It's because of the lights over here. But
That's just your angle, actually.
no, you can't see it.
No.
It's the reflection of the green light.
Yeah, I can't
But
see it.
It basically just being how we're gonna essentially just expedite anything we need through AI.
Well, yeah, actually, it's insane because, like, not to derail your thought, but it's like one of my customers that was in my office today was like literally going through like an AI bot that was like, yeah, bro, you just it was a like image/video creator like on like an AI bot. Basically, he was like, yeah, bro, like I can type in this prompt, put these different like modes of what I want, and it actually creates like an ad for me. Honestly, something I might look into with you. Because it was like able to like you just put in a bunch of information for like a business per se, right? Like what you want it to say, like how you want it to look, different like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like styles, like whether you want it to be like hype or inspirational or sentimental or like all these different like moods, I guess you could say. And then just like put together like kind of some different you could add like logos or pictures or whatever. And then it takes a few minutes, but it creates like a full scale, like 30-second to a minute long, like ad, like words, music, everything, like video, everything. It's actually pretty useful, I would say. And like what he was telling me about is how he's kind of like in that way, like an AI artist,
PB.
because what he does is he creates these different like ads for businesses and sells them. So, like he uses that app to create ads for businesses, sells them. So that's his art to a degree.
I disagree.
Why?
It's
Just a tool, right?
And that was literally going back to
Is
earlier.
it not a sophisticated
But
paintbrush?
see, now that we're on our own podcast, I'll go into it. I didn't want to derail his podcast with us going on 30 minutes on this specific issue. But now that we're here, no, because the thing is in a way I can see where it comes from, but then it's just a tool for you can use that in how far down the rabbit hole do you go with it? It's just a tool, and then before you know it, humans aren't needed for shit.
But if you look at it from a perspective of doing everything yourself, the argument I'm having is it easier to buy a camera so you can record video, buy a microphone so you can record audio, by recording like a software as well as editing software so you can record what you want and then also edit it how you want,
Yeah.
and then spend the time doing all of that editing? Or is it easier to use a tool that you can put your ideas into, choose how the style of your idea would be expressed, add in your own logos and stuff that you've already maybe paid an artist to build, or maybe used an AI builder to do that too. But I mean, either way, it's like you're looking at it from a perspective of outsourcing, where like an artist's job could be getting stolen by you using that. I'm looking at it from a perspective of you're the artist. If you want to create all this stuff already, why would you not take the fast track to the creation instead of spending hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars?
That's the point of the art.
What do you mean?
The point of the art is the creation of the art. You're creating it through.
How is that not creation?
You're not creating it.
Why?
Because the whole part is thinking of it and being
digitally speaking, though, that's exactly what that is.
But you're being able to materialize it.
You have to
through
do that
your own work and learning the skill of.
Here's why I think we're saying the same thing, because you have to visualize how to shoot, what shots you want to shoot. You have to visualize what voice would sound best. You have to visualize what like style you want this shot in. You have to actually shoot it and then visualize how it would be best edited. The visualization isn't changing. It's just about the amount of effort being put into the creation.
Yes.
But why does effort create value? Because if you can create a song in 10 seconds and I can create a song in 10 hours, but someone likes both songs, what's the difference?
The human aspect of that.
They're both human aspects. You can like I mean
the computer did it for you. It's not.
What are you saying?
The computer AI did that for you.
Did what?
Created it.
Created what? Your idea.
Yeah, but
that's the point. You're the artist. You have an idea and you're trying to express that idea.
You're not an artist.
How?
That's like me being like, you know what an awesome painting is? And I'm like, this is the idea, and then you painting it and being like, I'm the artist.
Well, theoretically speaking, if you're giving me your idea for me to execute, we're both the artist. It's the illustrator and the author of a book. They're both artists. Okay, one's writing and one's drawing what the other person's writing.
Thinking is an art, right? Being able to debate and stuff is an art. Coming up with an idea and typing that shit in is not an art. That's
why. Because what I'm saying is we've just entered a society where you can cut out the instrumentation of creating your idea.
A big portion. So at that point, I guess
I'm not defending it across all aspects.
I know you're saying AI is the medium, essentially.
No,
AI would be the medium.
In the specific case that we're talking about, it is a medium, because what we're talking about is creating business ads. That was what I was talking about.
Because a medium essentially would be like
into other modes of art.
A canvas would be a medium, right?
Yeah.
And this would be a medium, like a digital aspect.
Digitally, AI can't draw on a canvas for you, right? So that the canvas is a medium that you're using to express your idea.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this isn't a canvas that we're talking about.
I guess because I'm also looking at it, right?
You're looking at it from an art point of view of like music, painting, all these different things that are skills that a job could be stolen by AI. And
music actually is
being.
And
so is painting. So is NFT. All these different things that like graphic design. All of these different things. I'm with you that are being taken. I'm speaking of it from an artist. Like if you as an artist, like if it was easier for you to produce art that you believe in because of AI capabilities, why is that bad? As an artist,
it'd basically be like this. I'll explain it in terms of just the facet of life. So essentially, what is being human?
Okay.
What is being human?
I mean, I don't think there's a finite answer to
but
that.
But being human is existing, right? Being human is doing everything, right?
Right.
Getting up in the morning, it's brushing your teeth. Being human is being able to have this conversation with you. Being human is being able to take out the trash in the morning. It's all the little mundane things in life. It's, you going to the bank, right? And don't get me wrong, with life, we want to cut out a lot of that, right? We want to spend more time maybe with our families or your animals, or
is that not existing?
Or to do art,
doing the things that you want to do that you can't do whenever you have to worry about paying your bills or worrying about like getting a job. It's like the playing with your animals, hanging out with friends, like that's also existing too.
But what I'm saying is, imagine instead of doing all those things, we just have a robot actually, or just just fuck it, plug in a thing to our brain, and then it just does all that shit for us.
That is the
and then we take out the light. But what I'm saying, that's the implication.
That's not the implications, because that is the implications of you saying that everyone will take this to that extreme.
I mean,
that
society will converge into a
but
point.
society hasn't. Society doesn't converge to that point.
We're in the beginning stages.
Okay, but use the logic to make it make sense, because what you're talking about is an extreme example of something that has never happened and could possibly happen, but you have nothing to base that could possibly off of other than just implications. Because you could also imply that this would create an avenue for artists everywhere to be able to produce more art, to be able to produce a better way for them to live in our fucking fucked up economic society.
But how, if everything becomes oversaturated and then you're not being able to be differentiated?
Oversaturation is an implication. Why would it become oversaturation? You're implying
the music industry already is with AI art.
Okay, so it already was before AI art. No,
what, oversaturated?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends
to a degree, right?
Yeah.
So you can make the argument that doesn't change anything. It might make it a little bit more difficult for this to occur here, but all that means is that you change the scope of the platform and move forward with the technology. That's how the music industry has worked literally always.
So exactly. Well, so with that, that's exactly implying what I was saying earlier. Is eventually you move forward.
What you were implying earlier is that we would cut out life entirely. I never said that's an extreme,
but we're
based off of nothing.
Because the thing is that, what are we cutting out? We're cutting out things because of what?
What do you mean? Because all I was talking about cutting out is you as an artist having to pay a photographer just to take a picture.
A photographer, that's the art though. That's the medium.
That is a art. The photographer's still going to have work if you want to take a picture. That's what I'm not understanding here, is why you think that you have to, as an artist, if you're building something, right? Say you're a musician, right? You need all of these different things. Why is it better to outsource all of these things rather than create for yourself?
Well, if you're a musician, you're not outsourcing it. You're creating it yourself.
What are you creating? Because you need a cover art, you need music videos, you need all these different things.
But what about the music itself?
What about the music itself? Would it not be easier for you to focus on
prompt?
your music? I didn't say that. You said
that's what people are doing, though.
But that doesn't mean that's what I'm saying or even defending. That's what you are saying, and saying is a problem, and I'm not arguing that it's not.
You're saying, is that not the art?
No, I didn't. What I'm saying is that if you make ads for a living, is it not much easy? Is that not the art? The concept, the idea.
But
advertising
so with
is
music,
what I'm talking about. You're talking about music. It's not the exact same thing.
If I'm like, I have the
music requires execution, because a huge part of music is live music. It requires talent and execution. So what you're talking about is streams, and I'm with you that it gets muggy, but that is not music. That is how musicians make money. That is not music. Music that is all an advertisement to get people to go to the live shows. Because that's how musicians actually make money, is selling tickets. So realistically speaking, what you're talking about is a fucked up portion of the music industry, but that's not music. That is the music industry.
But the thing is
and that's where it gets
line.
The blurry line is created by the people that believe that we have to have these things in order. But these things that need to be in order are very new. Music's been created for all of time. And it's only recently been able to be sold. And now, since it's being sold and commoditized, and we know as artists in the music industry that people get fucked as artists in the music industry, whether that's by management, labels, even their own fucking fellow musicians, everything, everywhere. It's like literally a feeding frenzy. It's always been like that. It doesn't have to always be like that. But I wasn't talking about music at all.
I know, but what I'm saying is because the same argument that you're having, right? Evan actually has those arguments on Reddit with people that think they're like, I'm the artist. I'm typing in this prompt. I'm an artist just the same as you are, even though you spend hours in the DAW creating the music. I have an idea of what the music is. I type in a prompt. It's something that you couldn't do. But they believe that that's something that's...
But utilizing delusional people to make a point doesn't make a point.
It just
means there's delusional people.
But it's just like what you were saying earlier. It's like the person who's creating the advertisement is the artist.
In advertisement, how is that not true? If you have an idea, look at it from the former version of advertisement. You have ad companies that do these fucking group meetings. Who has an idea? Who has an idea? Who has an idea? I have an idea. They take that idea as the company. They run it through fucking groups of what's it called whenever you test test groups and shit like that, test subjects. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean, where they run it through these different processes before the idea actually runs to market. Now what I'm saying is why do you have to work for a fucking ad agency just to have your idea be executed? Why can't you have a photographer, a fucking voiceover, a musician, and all of these things in your phone to be able to make you be able to fucking execute your ideas without them being limited, tested, or anything? You just get to test to market yourself. Why is that? How does that not make you an artist?
I mean, but you could already do that.
You can't already do that if you don't have the technology to do that.
Canva.
Not how many people have the fucking technology to do that? And what is Canva? Where are you getting all those things from? Someone's supplying it to you. The different like options and things like that. It's what was that from?
Someone created that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So again,
let's cut them out and use AI.
I'm not saying cut them out. What I'm saying is why can't you create something for yourself using AI? Why do you have to use Canva? Do you see where I'm coming from? Is that I get how the implications of that can mean something. Okay, great.
How many? 50 minutes in. I have to cut that out. That was almost worse.
But I guess what I was trying to get to is like it's the idea of saying that like not every proof for one thing is used across everything. I was talking specifically about a guy who was showing me how to make ads for businesses, and you're like, "That's fucked up for music." And it's like, I didn't say anything about music.
Well, no, what I was saying is, I started with the main point was the implications, and I'm saying it starts to bleed into other industries.
That's a human error. That's not. It has nothing to do with what I was talking about. It like this guy being able to promote, like quit his job and being able to do this on the side so he can, like we were talking about, live. Spend time with his family, go out on trips, do all these things. It's like I don't have to work for a fucking business anymore. I can actually work for myself. And the ideas are coming from me. How is that not an artist? Using AI. You can say that it's not, but also what you're doing is discounting what it takes to do that, which these ad companies fail at. We see, how many commercials do you see that's like, I wouldn't have made that. You know what I mean? It's not easy to fucking sell fucking ads. You have to actually do something that stands out.
Have some good ideas. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing is like if it's strictly just having the idea is the art, then it's like at that point everyone's an artist. In a way, everyone is an artist.
I think we should embrace that.
Everyone is an artist, but I think the thing is
we have
who's willing to really put the work in.
That's what determines who is going to continue being an artist. I think we're all artists at heart. It's just difficult finding what we're good at or what we actually can succeed in, because I think so many people are like, I don't have a steady hand. That means I can't draw. That means I can't paint. That means I can't this. Oh, I don't have a steady rhythm. That means I can't play this instrument. That means I can't be a musician. That means I can't this. It's like it's so easy to fall off of a skill before learning how talented you actually can be in that field. So you're right. The hard work is going to stand out no matter what. But we shouldn't discount the idea that everyone does maybe have an inner artist in them that hasn't been embraced.
Yeah. I believe that.
So, like, why not give them a fucking tool to embrace it instead of making them think that they have to live the rest of their lives miserable in a place that they can't break out of? And I'm not saying you are saying that. What I'm saying is we shouldn't address the idea that AI across the board is bad for art. I think it's bad for certain artists that are making money on art. That's true.
It's like the thing is like, yeah, using it as a guise, be like, it's gonna make everything easier for everyone. Is that necessarily a good thing for humanity?
I'm not even talking about easy. I'm talking about accessibility. Think about a person that has no access to a studio, to a camera, to anything, but does have access to a phone every now and then. Think about that person. What if they are able to utilize that minimal amount of access to technology to be able to create something that they never thought was possible? Is it bad then?
I mean,
I'm not saying obviously we're talking in absolutes now, but
no,
at the end of the day,
it's tough because I get what you're saying.
I don't think the implication applies everywhere.
You're giving more of a level playing field to some people who may not have the resources to do all those things.
And personally, it does appear like most of the people that are complaining about it are people that do have the resources to create what they want to create. I haven't seen anybody that's fucking comes from humble beginnings. I was fucking eating dirt when I was a kid. It's like, this AI shit is bad for fucking musicians. It's usually people that are fucking making money. And obviously there's outliers like Evan, like you, like people that do care about like the actual state of art.
Yeah.
Most people just care about their pockets. That's a problem. That's why there's implications. That's why there's these viewpoints of this could be bad. It's like this should only be a tool for promotion of art. This should only be a tool for promotion of life.
It shouldn't be a replacement is what I'm saying.
Correct. I'm with you there. But using it as a replacement is acting like these things that we view them as are that. But it's not. It's like acting like music is just what's on your Spotify playlist. It's not. Those are people that made those songs. Those are people that have made those songs that are relying on you liking those songs so much that you go see them in person. But you won't because you just fucking play them every day in your car. That's all that you get to disconnect yourself from the reality of what music is.
I'm a stickler because even then, I mean, I take it even further than just what we were talking. Because like the idea of even someone could be really skilled, right, in being able to make music. Like they learn the software, right? They learn the technique and all the stuff to make it, right? But if they're just making the same formulaic shit that they know was gonna, I mean, they did the work to get good at what they did, right? But ultimately, if you are just making what you know is going to be successful, to me, that's still not.
So
art.
then what you're talking about is kind of what that just said is kind of disproves your point earlier, which is that you have to put in the work to be an artist. Well, there's plenty of people that put in the work that just do what they know will sell tickets or sell money or sell streams or sells clicks. All these things. It's like, well, no, you're not pushing art. You're not doing anything. You're not going like out on a limb. You're not trying to do what anyone would actually imagine is something you enjoy doing. You're just doing what quote unquote works. But that's not an artist either, right? So the person that claims that they made an AI song that did no effort is not an artist, but also the person that did a lot of effort and did a lot of work and learned everything, but just only to be able to make money and do nothing else and not help anyone else, also not an artist. So where does the line get drawn between not needing to put effort in or putting effort in? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess is what you're saying is if it.
I think it does come down to
if
the
it
idea.
comes from if someone's like it's coming from the heart and this is what I feel, then how is it not art?
I think it comes down to the idea.
I think it's I think it's a combination of.
If
both.
your idea is just looking at something and saying, I'm gonna just type this in so I can recreate that, that's not an idea.
I think creation though is the purest, like most foundational, like piece of humanity.
Right.
Create like the being able to create something it's just like it's the idea of okay, a mother giving birth, right, and then there being a lab baby, right, being able, it's like at that point you're still growing a real baby.
Okay, so
but it's not from a human being.
What if
creation is life,
right? But to talk about the aspect of accessibility again, creation is life, right? But additionally, not every life is equal. In the same way that if I can appreciate a painting so much that you say that like, okay, well, that is something that you're capable of, you can go learn how to paint and create for yourself instead of typing in a prompt to try to view something beautiful, right? That's accessibility, because not only would you be talking about, one, my access to the resources to be able to do that, two, my access to the knowledge to be able to learn that, but three, also my access to be able to fucking function. There are people that, like, I guess what I'm trying to get to the point here is that what if you're a handicapped person with no arms, but you have a passion for painting? You would never be able to, like, without maybe like some severe prosthetics, you would never be able to achieve that passion unless you're able to use the ideas that you have for these paintings that you've always wanted to make to create maybe like NFTs or some digital art or something through an AI platform. Now, what I'm talking about here is obviously an absolute, and it may not apply to anyone on the planet. But if it does, is that not a beneficial way to give an artist an access to create art? Now, of course, it might make it that much more difficult for a digital artist or an NFT creator or even a graphic designer to be able to get a job somewhere if someone likes what that guy did so much with AI art. But additionally speaking, why is that guy not able to do what he's doing? Because all he's using is a tool and he's not able to paint the way other people paint.
I will say, I mean, regardless, we're gonna have to adapt to where technology goes, and I mean, we already can all see where it's going. So if at some point we're all gonna have to figure out where the line is drawn, and if we do it all, and if we're able to even be able to distinguish
Would we
the
be able
difference
to
between
agree on that line?
no,
That's the problem.
and it's like, are we going to be able to distinguish that in which someone put the effort in adverse to someone who just typed in a prompt? Probably, it's probably going to the line's going to get blurry as time gets on. So goes on. So it's realistically, on one hand, yes, anyone's going to probably be able to do whatever, right? On the other hand, it's going to really be like, are you in it for the art truly because you love to make it? But you also have to understand, like, the process of entry is only going to get worse because at some point it's already hard to basically get to where you want to be.
Why I don't agree with that is because I think it's only going to get easier to see the disparity. I think it'll be harder to discern what exactly, like, if is this AI art, is this a person? But the people, the people that are doing it, that aren't creating AI art, those people will stand out much more, in my opinion. In the way that now it's like, okay, everyone is talented, right? It's going to get to a point where, okay, everyone sounds fucking great, but how many of these people can I actually go see?
I don't think we're too far. Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is where I'm at. I don't think we're too far from a full AI artist to where it's like just like an AI
hologram
system.
type of
Not
like
even just no. They might even
performance.
they'll probably get it. Well, maybe even that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking they'll probably find a face, like an image for whatever
Right.
it is, right? The industry will find someone to fit whatever that is.
Right.
But like an AI bot essentially online, creating an online presence, it's fully run by AI. All the posts and stuff like that, they're able to put everything into it using however much data they're able to access. And then that is able to create a profile, and that it seems like it's seemingly like a real person. But ultimately, it's not.
So
And
I
then
guess
it's able to market itself. It's able to post for itself. It makes music. Like they use that to make music, and then ultimately they just need to find a face to fit the
correct.
bill.
But I guess the discernment I have here is how do you make a difference between that and what we already have as label created industry plants? We all know that they exist, but what is that? They're an artist. That's a person, but it's not their personality. It's not who they are. It's not their art. It's not their lyrics.
Built.
It's all built by the label.
Yeah.
How is that any different than an AI created person that's just doing all of that? Speaking someone else's words, doing all these different label ads and all these different things. It's like, that's the same fucking thing. We already have that. It's just in a person.
But I know I keep going back to music, but I think it's just easier to talk about that for me. Is in this exact instance, it would be like what? So in that case, right?
Right.
You have writers and stuff, right?
Right.
You have a staff that's writing the stuff, that's doing the. You can cut all that out.
I see where
Cut
you
a
can,
whole team.
I see where you can.
You don't even need to do that anymore.
I see where you can get
You literally
there.
just need a face.
I see where you can get there, but it's one of those things where it's like,
You don't even need the marketing team anymore.
I'm viewing it as like, of course that means that jobs would get cut, but it's also viewing it as like the portion of like, would that not free people that are doing shit that they wouldn't want to be fucking doing up to do shit that they would be wanting fucking doing?
I guess again,
it's a conversation of like, where's the line drawn between art and artists? Are the people that are writing for a label to be fucking released as an industry plant song truly artists? Is that what we're doing? Is Drake the artist, or is not Tory Lanez? Who's his ghostwriter? Fucking Quentin Miller or somebody like that.
No, wait, yeah, it was something like that.
Quentin something. I forgot. But who's the artist? Is it the guy behind the face, or is it the face? Who cares? It's still not real.
Yeah, to be fair, that was only one of his writers. He's
had multiple. But the point is that like, how do we discern? Is Quentin Miller a true artist for just writing songs for Drake, or have you even heard his own album?
Heard what?
His album.
I heard it was okay.
It's not great. It's I'm not gonna shit on it. It's not. It's the thing I was telling you the other day. It's like it's not bad music. It's just not for me.
Fair.
Yeah.
It is a tough. Like again, we're gonna have to just see where it goes, and I mean, as human beings, we'll have to adapt and change.
I think a lot of I guess what I'm truly trying to like get at here is I think a lot of the issues that we have with this stuff is issues that we already exist with. Like the things that we already have problems with. We're just acting like they're going to get amplified or taken to a new level, but it's like we've already been not doing anything about this. We've already acted like this was an eventuality and are not trying to combat it whatsoever. So why are we now acting, now that it's in place, why are we now acting like it's the worst thing possible? It's like we walked this line all the way to the very end of the line just to say, guys, we shouldn't cross this line.
It really is crazy because it does beg a question where if the singularity is real, right? If we are able to build a machine that, and technology does get to a point essentially where we're able to build like simulations that replicate life, then would that potentially just prove that the whole time we were in the simulation? And who's to say we're the origin? You know,
well,
we could believe we're the origin, but it's like ultimately we would just reach the point where
it's a mixture of like Westworld, where like you don't truly know your origins, as well as like kind of. It's weird because whenever you talk about the simulation, you're like, okay, well, we're going to continually make improvements on the simulation. Like, even if it's not called the simulation, call it fucking Call of Duty. We're going to make new Call of Duties every year. We're going to do updates every year. That's got to get to the point eventually. If they're always making updates and they're always making new ones, it's got to get to the point where eventually it's indiscernible from actually being in war. And whenever you take that to the concept of us living in a simulation, it's like, okay, well, if we have the idea that it will eventually get there, how do we have the discernment now to say that this is reality? You don't. You're basing it all off of hoping and praying and all these realities that you have of fear and religion that we were talking about earlier, all these different things that make sense to you because people somewhere told you that they made sense to them, and you believe that person more than you believe yourself for some reason. Or a lot of it's also trauma. Like if you have trauma-based like thought processes and mentality in a lot of your life, then a lot of that can be limited too. But like it comes down to the situation of like, what? Okay, well, maybe it is a simulation. So what? You gonna do something about it? Are you gonna change the way you live? Are you gonna do anything? Does it change anything about your life? The only way that us living in a simulation changes anything about your life is if you truly believed that this was going to end and go into this other world or other realm or anything like that. But it's like that, even that is starting to sound just as crazy as us living in a simulation.
I mean, and who's to say we're not the NPCs of the simulation?
Well, who's to say that this is even fucking happening? You know, I mean, it's happening to us because that's what perception is. But realistically speaking, like perspective and perception, if you talk about in a simulation, it's like we could be the main character, we could be the NPC, we could not even be.
I mean, it goes
game over. You know,
it goes back to like that idea though. Even then, would like if AI were to become like sentient conscious, right? It would be all a part of one greater source.
Well, so
like it would all be a consciousness, but coming from one greater source. So we would ultimately still all be part of one greater thing.
I think it's like it's one of those things where it's
ways.
like it's if you believe in God, then that would change your perspective on how you live, because then you would look at the teachings and find out how to get into heaven and how you can give back to other people and be a good Samaritan and all these things. And that's that belief system, right? So if you believe, then this. But if you believe in the simulation theory, it's not a whole lot of then this. It's just mostly like, what do you got to fucking do about it?
Well, honestly, at any of those questions, like what is source, what is greater being, what would be the thing that connects us all if we were the universe kind of experiencing itself through different, perspectives. If we were, let's say, just on like what I'm looking for, on an
interdimensional plane.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, pretty much, yeah. If we were on like a plane of existence that was just at it, vibrating at a different frequency, right? And there are other planes of existence living simultaneously as ours. It really, I'm not gonna lie, I don't blame people for just basically sticking to religion, because that shit'll break your brain.
Oh yeah.
If you continue to just ask all these questions, and I sometimes have to stop myself, because I think that if you get further down that rabbit hole, it'll only pain you more.
There's a huge part of religion where it's like let go and let God, and that whole mentality is based off of stop worrying about this shit. It's gonna be all right. That's it. It's not. It's not that God's gonna be there for you. No. It's just that somehow this shit just fucking works out, or you die. You know, that's it. You won't be around to experience it not working out. That's it. That's life. It's let go and let God is basically like shut the fuck up. Just stop worrying about it. In a way, I mean, it's that obviously it's a lot more harsh than God's got your back. Let Jesus take the wheel of your life. God's always in your corner. He's always searching for ways to improve your life. It's like there's so many ways that you can make it. It's like no, the universe just has a way of evening out. I believe much more in like the yin yang side of life than the God's looking out for you side of life. Where it's like balance is something that occurs pretty much universally. And that being said, that means you're going to have some fucking dark days and you're going to have some fucking great days.
The layers of being human.
Stop trying to get control over that shit.
Yeah. When I think of life, though, I think of it just there's so much depth and layers to it. Like we live on autopilot most of the time, but when you just think of a human being and just how many different, just in ourselves, aspects there are to it, you know, and it goes back to a lot of it to your childhood and, you know, how you're raised, how trauma affects you, how basically you were treated, how your parents acted towards each other, your interactions with people as a kid, and then just how that, I think maybe next episode we'll get into it, but just kind of, we were talking about it, just how like you interact in relationships and how, you know, you kind of uncover a piece of yourself in those relationships that you might not have really paid attention to before. But being human is crazy. Along with that, trying to discover the answers to the universe that will, you know, I don't think anyone will ever.
Well, it doesn't
know.
help whenever every answer is fucking vague as shit. Do your own research. It's all gonna be all right.
Like, are there aliens, dude? Are there demons? Are there other interdimensional fucking beings that we can't see but that are constantly around us?
I mean,
are the machine elves real?
I mean, we've talked about them for centuries. I mean, like,
the machine elves or the aliens?
Well, I was gonna talk about
machine elves are the DMT.
I was gonna talk about interdimensional beings like that are around us all the time. We can't see them. And go into the conversation of like ghosts. People have had ghost stories ever since fucking always, basically. Like, what is that? Is that truly like a haunted being in this house, or is there actually things going on around us that we can't see? You know, I mean, you can make sense of it if you can, but that's like acting like you can make sense of anything. It's like you have to have a lot of information on something to actually make sense out of it. Otherwise, you can fucking see a bird and be like, that's a plane, because all you know that in the sky is fucking planes. It's like that's obviously stupid, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. It's like, well, why'd you guess the first two first? Because Superman sounds fucking stupid. That's why.
Yeah, it's better to guess fucking bird or
it's a bird. No, it's a plane. No, guys, it's Clark Kent from the Daily Bugle or whatever the fuck I think Daily Bugle Spider-Man. Who cares?
I've been watching too much Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction. It blurs the lines between fact or fiction. Which one of these is based on reality?
Honestly,
and which one of these is...
Ripley's Believe It or Not used to go hard when we were kids.
Oh,
on the fucking Sci-Fi Channel.
They did have the show too,
yeah. Well, the books went hard, but the show went hard too.
You rewatch Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction. It's always some spooky or crazy shit, and they're like, find out at the end of this episode what's fact and what's fiction. It's always some like fucked up shit of like some ghost or spiritual shit. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's like whenever you talk about like interdimensional beings, aliens, ghosts, demons, it's all like kind of pulling from the same place. Like, what is a being from another planet? We will say it's an interplanetary species. Those are fucking words. It's like, if an interplanetary species can also have the technology to go invisible, that's also a ghost now. if this invisible interdimensional being has anything that to do with knocking over your religious like aspects of your house, now it's a demon. It's like, what are we doing? We're just putting words on shit that we don't fucking understand and acting like they're all different.
You know what's more fucked up now though is because like I would say I still believe the world is round. I would like to believe because then that would just
we're just going for it.
yeah, but. You know, we're like, no, the world is flat Earth, right? And you're like, no, look at it, it rounds.
You
It's
said
like,
I still believe like the general consensus is changing. It's
Yeah.
just your algorithm, my friend.
no. I'm saying I still believe because I'm what I believe is real is starting to fracture in my brain a lot more.
That's just one of the only ones that remains.
Yeah, it's because just especially when you saw that last light with the fucking celebrities, like they didn't go to space.
Well, for me, it's like I don't
They
care
didn't-
if they went to space. For me, it's like when you talk about flat Earth theory, I'm like, it better not be fucking true. Basically, because both of my parents work for NASA and they haven't told me.
I doubt they would know.
I don't know, but this is some bullshit. If they both work for NASA and I'm 28 years into my fucking life and they haven't told me shit about it being flat, this is some actual fucking bullshit. This is Truman Show. I need to worry about if these are really my parents.
Maybe.
You weren't there in the delivery room.
You fucking Doofenshmirtz, bro.
You're gonna tell me something? Is this a Truman
Neither
Show?
your parents were there for the fucking Doofenshmirtz was alive, but neither of his parents were there for his birth.
Honestly, Doofenshmirtz's story in fucking Phineas
the
and Ferb
best.
is one of the most tragic stories of any villain of all time.
His best friend's a platypus, dude.
His best friend is his fucking arch nemesis, also a platypus.
Yeah. Oh, you hear that, Perry the platypus? He's like escaped, and the Perry's just like, I don't want to do this to you, man. Like, you leave me no choice.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're still evil.
Yeah, you're still doing some bullshit, but
Ridiculous, but you're evil.
no, but yeah, no, they didn't go to space. Katy Perry wasn't in space. I don't give a fuck. But what I'm saying is
That's
like,
pretty anti-feminist of you.
what I'm saying is like,
What, a
for
woman
all we
can't go
know,
to
a lot of
space?
those pictures could have been skewed. I mean, people do say a lot of the photos are fucking skewed that NASA has, and we might not have been to the moon. And like, no, you see the pictures, it's round. I don't know that. I still believe it's round. I just want to say I'm not a flat earther, but I'm just saying for the scope of this argument,
The lines get blurred.
we don't know.
Yeah.
And interplanetary shit, we don't fucking know.
Why is the flag moving?
Bro,
There's no air up there.
and just like the further I look into the ocean, I'm like, shit, that's more like space than I think what we think of space.
Well, there's like a strange number or whatever it is, like 88 or 89. It's like a percent of our oceans that are undiscovered. It's like, who's making up that number?
How do we know?
How do you know? It's undiscovered. How do you know how much there is?
Where I was go. That's a fair. That's a fair. I guess maybe by mass and what they believe is
Just fucking
water.
like fucking
Yeah,
calculations.
Yeah, calculations based on probably how much Earth is
so
covering.
bullshit.
Water's covering the Earth. But what I was gonna say is with the whole Earth is round. Maybe who knows if the fucking Middle Earth theory. There might be shit in the middle of. We haven't even
Have you been inside a volcano? Have you been fucking
we never
hundreds of feet underwater?
Have we hit the core?
Or yard?
Have we drilled to the
yards?
core?
Miles? I don't know. Drove?
Drilled.
I thought you said drove. I was
Yeah,
like, fucking whipped it,
journey to
dude.
the
Fucking
center of the earth.
Cybertruck.
Journey to the center.
Probably not. I would say that's a long way.
I'm just saying.
I don't even know if we've broken the crust.
There's so. That's a funny thing. That's just a silly. I didn't even know we broke it. Break bread, dude. That's what Jesus was doing.
Jesus was
Breaking
not
br-
breaking bread.
He was breaking bread
He
with
was
his
breaking
bros.
Hebrew laws.
Breaking bread with his homies, dude.
Maybe
He's turning water to wine and breaking bread. He was the first to break
he's
bread.
breaking his own body.
Breaking bread, bro.
It's his body.
But just the sheer
The
amount
body
of
of
possibility.
Christ.
The thing is, again, going back to that, we could believe that he did all that shit, walked on water and all that shit. But the converging possibilities right now that are narrowing in of a possible apocalypse, alien invasions, AI taking over right now, I think the possibilities are endless, and any of those could happen. Honestly, I don't even know which one would come first. I'm hoping that somehow we all become friends. I'm thinking raves in the future are like us with the aliens and the robots. we're all kind of just intermingled, listening to like techno, like the
I'm sure the
underground
robots
clubs.
would enjoy
It's
that.
just the robots and aliens. We're all just in the clubs.
The aliens are like, "Can you play some bass?"
Yeah, we don't have this shit on our
You
planet.
start an alien versus robot war over music. Play more techno.
Could you imagine though? We just start fusing them. Half cold reptilian, half even cold unfeeling robot.
Dude, I mean, you
Rocky bot, dude.
gotta have a crocky bot every now and then.
Yeah, the world's crazy though. There's too many options. We have no idea. The best part is the people who try to believe that they know what's going on.
No, yeah, that is the best part, and that's what I was kind of talking about earlier about the belief system, where it's like I'm with you all the way up to where you tell me that Jesus was dead for 3 days and came back to life. I'm with you all the way up until you tell me that he turned 1 fish and 1 loaf of bread into enough to feed 200 people.
No good deed
How about
goes
you shut the fuck up? Have you seen how small a fish and 1 loaf of bread is? How about you eat dick? That's not happening.
Be fruitful and multiply.
You can be fruitful all you fucking want. The only thing you're multiplying is a lie.
That shit, yeah. I mean, it could have been true. I mean, I wasn't around back then. There were supposedly aliens building the pyramids, so.
I mean, it was giants, actually.
Was that before? Was that before Jesus? Was the pyramids? Was before Jesus, right?
Who knows, dude? I mean, I would assume so because they're more than 2,000 years old, and we're supposed to be told that he died 2,025 years ago. After. Shut the fuck up. That's not whenever he died, you dumbass.
Yeah, well, another thing. Why are we putting timestamps of Jesus? Like, when did that start?
So there's some reality to it. I mean, like, think it was the story of the Virgin Mary. This woman appeared to me, told me to go to this place, and I did this thing, and it turned into riches. And it's just like, what the fuck are you? Who is supposed to believe this? It's children.
This is more of a personal thing now. But when I was growing up, people used to give me shit for being Catholic, which is crazy considering it was one of the most popular religions in the world for a long time, if not still now to this day. And I was thinking, like, if I would have grown up north, like northeast, like New Jersey, New York, all that, right? Well, maybe not as much New York, but like Jersey, Philadelphia, there's a big Irish population up there, like Massachusetts, all that shit. So there's a lot of Catholics. Like, it would have been common.
Didn't you grow up Roman Catholic?
No.
Is Irish Catholic?
No. I don't know. What is maybe Roman Catholic? I don't know. What are most of the Hispanics?
Roman Catholic.
Is that Roman Catholic?
Pretty sure, yeah.
That was Roman. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
It was that then, yeah. But
that's what I grew up as well.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because it's like when I grew up, people were like, "Oh, you're Catholic? That's not." And they're like, "I'm Christian," and I'd be like, "That's the same thing." And then they'd be like, "No, it's not." Like, "No, it's not. You guys worship Mary." I'm like, "We don't."
I don't worship Mary. You just have a big picture of her in the church.
You just, and even as a kid, I'd have to be like, "So you're telling me the woman who gave birth to the Son of God, we don't want to even." Pay any attention to that. Just like, yeah, who gives a shit?
It's so funny that the forms of Christianity are based on like who in the book you attach yourself to.
Yeah.
It's like personifying who you want to be and then building a community off of it.
And people be like, yeah, but you worship the saints. No, again, it's like
I don't think you understand the word worship.
Did you we obviously have a similar Bible. So there were saints and apostles, right? We're just over here being like, hey, this is the saint for this, and this is the saint for that. They all had their place.
They all had purpose.
Alongside Jesus. That's it. Bro, having to explain that as a kid. I think that was part of my awakening of being like, this shit's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Because these kids are fucking stupid.
Well, part of my awakening was just like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I don't have any issue with people's reasoning for their religion, but part of my awakening was finding out like why people believed in what they believed in. Like, oh well, there's
no real reason.
I had a lost family member that I hope to see one day again. It's like, okay, I can see how you got there.
Yeah,
I can see how you got there. Especially if it's like a tragedy, like you lose someone in a tragedy. It's like
your whole family or something.
I would hope to see them one day again. It's like that hope is enough for
They'll
faith
keep
to
you going.
exist.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Keeps you going.
I can get
drives
with you.
Yeah.
As long as we can like come together in an understanding that you would need me to have that type of tragedy to understand why you believe this. Because if you're asking me, someone that has not had that happen to them and has not lost the things that you've lost and attached themselves in that loss to this religion,
Yeah.
without any of that, I'm looking at you like you're an insane person, partially, but I get why you're insane. That is an insanely like good reason to believe. But I need you to understand that it's crazy.
What's hard for me is more so, even if something like that were to happen, and there was, maybe it came to me in a dream, or I heard something or saw something midday of a past relative speaking to me. That wouldn't necessarily bring my thought process to Jesus Christ and God. Okay, maybe there's another plane of existence. Maybe I should ask. Maybe there's something else that I don't understand, but it doesn't have to be what this organized book told me that it was.
Exactly.
There could be a whole nother structure of a system that exists outside of my plane of view or belief system.
Right.
So that would be my thought process. But I could see where people would also just, biggest thing is, I have a belief of what this is, and this is what it has to be, or else.
Whenever it comes to Catholicism, because that is like pretty much one of the like highest, I guess, information level of any religion that I have based on my childhood and stuff like that. But speaking just from that perspective, it was a lot of times me looking at things as like, well, I get like why this is a teaching. I don't get the overall concept that if you don't follow this teaching, that you will forever burn in hell.
Yeah, why am I drinking the body and blood of this guy?
I don't. It's not even that. It's like, why do I gotta worship some? Like, okay, you created me as a god. Okay, I can show thanks, right? Why is this a consistent thing? Why am I consistently thanking you for doing something that you were gonna do anyways, just because you were bored by yourself?
Why am I standing up and sitting down so many times?
That's a fucking crazy way to look at it.
Why are you singing every tidbit of information?
Why is this part of this?
This seems like a little. Why are all the little boys following? There's a lot I have to question. Why is it all these young men?
There's a lot about the process, because it's like community aspect, love aspect, faith aspect, like wanting to have like an afterlife with your loved ones, like these different things. Like I can get behind the positivity of it all.
Like the Boy Scouts.
I don't get the concept, the general concept of worship in religion. I don't understand it. And in the way that like it's purely to show gratitude, but like what is the gratitude for? We can show gratitude in a lot of different ways in our life, but it should be for like something. And why are we consistently showing?
Yeah, no. The thing is too, where people, I see a lot of people like, well, how would you know right from wrong? It's like, if you need that to know right from wrong, I think then there's a bigger issue at hand. If you think, if you're telling me that without religion you would murder somebody, I think that's a reflection, like something you need to look at in the mirror. Like,
that is true.
There's something wrong with you.
Like if you need a commandment to tell you not to kill people, then I think we need to fucking lock you up.
Yeah, exactly. If we're not taking a look at ourselves in society, more so in the sense that we are not able to function without there being people telling us.
But it's weird how there's like an internal consequence system that we have as people, like, well, I guess people that believe in like religions, where it's like you can go beyond saying like this is illegal, I could get in trouble. It's like God is watching me at all times. It's like I cannot get into heaven if I don't follow his every will. It's like, what the fuck is that? Does this guy love you or not?
The love is very, and I think that is why a lot of Christians are the way they are, because in their eyes, the love is very conditional.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even their love is conditional. Christians be like, you love thy neighbor, for all brothers and sisters. Don't bring home a Tyrone. It's like, what the fuck is that? How did that come from the same person? Like, but you see that literally everywhere in the fucking South. All these people that claim to be Christian that also would not help a single person in need.
I mean, I think we looked it up on here. Southern Baptist was rooted in racism.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's created out of racism. So when people are like, they're Baptist, I'm like, yeah.
From the north? Western. You
The tough one. It's really popular down here in the South too.
might want to start with a different one.
Yeah, it's like that's a tough one, dude. That's a really tough one.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like the human experience is extremely complex, and a lot of belief systems are built off of your experience. And unless you do have that come to Jesus moment, then nothing's gonna bring you to Jesus, and that's okay because not every. I think there's a lot of power in belief. I think that there is. I used to have this like theory, and I still kind of have it sometimes. That no matter what you believe in, you're right. Like spiritually speaking, if you believe that nothing's gonna happen, nothing's gonna happen. If you believe that you're going to heaven, you're going to heaven. If you believe that you're going to hell, you're going to hell.
You get a car.
If you believe that you're getting reincarnated, you're getting reincarnated.
You get a car.
I think belief could be powerful enough to actually make everyone right, because no one would be able to prove you wrong once you're right. I mean, no one else is going to experience what you're experiencing, right?
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? And even if you're reincarnated, you're not going to have the memory to tell people. And I mean, you might have these like life flashes in your dreams or whatever, but it's like
Jesus.
like there's no consequence to you being correct, and there's also no consequence to anyone else for you being incorrect.
You're bound by your own beliefs
and
for eternity.
And
It's
theoretically
crazy.
speaking, it's your true beliefs. I mean, like the idea to say like, not I want to go to heaven, it's I believe that I am worthy of going to the place that I have deemed my entire life only people that are truly worthy would get in. Or I believe I'm going to hell. I've been told my whole life I'm a piece of shit. I believe I'm going there.
That'd be crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like why not? Why would it have to be, well, no, there is this guy who's going to be the judge of everything.
It's crazy if you have the belief that there are different planes of existence that resonate on different frequencies. Essentially, this would probably be more likely hell, or if not purgatory.
I thought that too.
This would be lower frequency. We're definitely not at a, like, this would be a place to where like if you eventually like evolve to a higher frequency, you get to a higher plane of existence, we would be in the shit zone for sure.
Well, truthfully, but also it's like, I think that may be like a perception thing as well. Like kind of the doors of perception type of thing, where it's like, you might have a heaven and a hell both on this plane of existence, just dependent on which frequency you're currently tapped in on.
That's really crazy. And that's what this podcast is all about.
Being fucking crazy, dude.
We're going to dive
aliens and demons, dude.
Oh my God.
A&D.
Hopefully we could dive in deeper, get people who actually study this shit and actually spend their whole lives dedicated to.
You mean we're not fucking researchers and historians?
We're the experts.
You mean we're not?
We didn't even get to dive into that.
experts?
We didn't even get to dive into talking about the experts today.
We didn't talk about the experts yet.
We got, so next episode we have even more content to talk about.
Talk about partnerships. We'll talk about relationships. We'll talk about not experts. We'll talk about Terrence Howard. We'll talk about.
He'll live on. He'll live on whenever. Like, honestly, he's been talking about a lot of crazy shit recently, but he'll live. I mean,
2 times 2, bro.
Well, no, it was 1 times 1
You don't know.
equals 2 times 2 equals 3 times 3 times 4 times 4.
Multiplication.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it. We're gonna have more
PEMDAS.
conversation. We're gonna talk about the experts that we are. We're experts.
This has been another episode of Far From Finished.
Oh my God. But no, thank you guys for tuning in. We got so much more in store that we need to lock in on, and thank you for sticking with us and watching.
Lock it and cock it.
Have
What
a
I
good one.
always say.
It's been Fire Danny. Y'all take care, you guys. Lock it and cock it.